Many people say if they could go back in time, they would like to live in ancient times or the Middle Ages, and some people even wish they could live during the Victorian era. However, let me ask you this. Have you ever stopped to think how hard life was during those times? Well, let's find out together through these old pictures. This is a farm family around 1840. The woman's dress is very long and she also wears a headscarf. Children are playing nearby while the man takes care of the animals. Back then, life for farmers was really difficult and most of them were poor. This picture shows a peasant family who lives in a one-room house. We can see the mother, the father, and their children sleeping in the same room. They don't have a bed, so they probably sleep on the floor. There's also a small fire going on in the corner, which is used for cooking and keeping warm. The walls are made of clay and the roof is thatched, which means the house has no protection from rain or wind. These families didn't have running water or electricity, so they had to walk to public fountains to get water. The children were often barefoot and without proper clothing. Life was tough for everyone, but especially for kids. Have you ever wondered what an open-air toilet was like? This picture might give you a better idea. It looks pretty simple, doesn't it? This is a street in a big city. People from the middle class lived in these types of houses. But when we look closer, we can see that there are several toilets outside the windows. So instead of having toilets inside their homes, people had to use the ones on the streets. These toilets were basically holes dug in the ground. Sometimes they were covered with a wooden box, but usually they weren't. You can imagine how dirty and stinky these toilets were. But life wasn't just hard for ordinary people. Even kings and queens had problems. Take a look at this picture. What do you think? Is it a throne? Well, actually, this is Queen Victoria's toilet. Can you believe that? The Queen of England had to sit on this weird thing. Look at how big it is. It has armrests and a backrest. It must have been uncomfortable to use. At least it wasn't a hole in the ground. And now we'll take a look at what people's houses looked like back then. First, let's start with the rich people's mansions. This is Menmore House in England. It belonged to the Rothschild family, one of the wealthiest families in Europe. The house had 185 rooms. Imagine all the servants needed to clean all those rooms. The ceilings were decorated with beautiful paintings. The furniture was made of expensive wood and the carpets were priceless. The dining room was huge and could fit 100 people. No wonder only the richest people could afford to live here. Here's another example of a rich family's house. It looks smaller than the previous one, but it still has everything you need, including a library, a dining room, and a music room. The family is posing for a picture on the stairs. The mother is elegant and beautiful. She's wearing a silk dress and her hair is styled. The children look well taken care of. They're dressed in nice clothes and they seem happy. Their father is serious and focused on the camera. He's wearing a suit and a tie. He looks like a businessman. I wonder what he did for a living, but life wasn't easy even in such a big house. Servants had to work hard to keep everything clean and in order. They had to cook food, clean rooms, iron clothes, polish shoes, drive cars, mow the lawn, and do other stuff. They worked from morning till night, and if they made a mistake, their boss would get angry and punish them. That's why many servants quit their jobs and went to work somewhere else. Now let's take a look at what life was like for ordinary people. Here's a regular family's house. It's not very big, but it's cozy and comfortable. There's a living room, a kitchen, and a bedroom. The walls are decorated with paintings, and the furniture is simple but nice. The family is posing for a picture in the yard. The husband and wife are young and in love. They're holding hands and smiling at the camera. The children are playing nearby. They look happy and carefree. Life wasn't easy for this family either. They had to work hard to earn money, and they couldn't afford to buy many things. But they were a close-knit family, and they loved each other very much. And here's another house. It's much smaller than the previous one. It's just a small cottage with a few rooms. The walls are made of stone and the roof is thatched. The house looks like it's about to fall apart. This is a poor family's house. The parents are old and tired. They've worked hard all their lives and now they're too poor to buy new clothes. Their children are sick and need medical help, but they can't afford it. Life was tough for this family. They had to work hard every day just to survive. The next picture shows what school was like back then. The teacher is standing in front of the chalkboard. He's tall and thin. He's wearing glasses and a hat. The students are sitting at their desks. They're all boys. They're listening to the teacher. Some of them are paying attention, while others are distracted. The classroom is small and crowded. There are too many students and not enough desks. The walls are bare and the windows are dirty. Life wasn't easy for students either. They had to study long and hard hours. If they didn't learn their lessons well, they were punished. These pictures show what the streets and transportation looked like. Back then, the streets were dirty and narrow. Most people walked everywhere. If you wanted to travel, you could take a horse-drawn carriage or a train. People also used bicycles, but they were different from today's bikes. They had big wheels and were difficult to ride. Streetcars appeared later. They ran on rails and were pulled by horses. They were cheaper than carriages, but still expensive for ordinary people. The first automobiles appeared at the end of the 19th century, but they were rare and expensive. Most people couldn't afford to own one. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe and like this video. Now let's continue. The next pictures will show you what food and clothing were like back then. People's diets consisted of different soups, stews, and roasts. They ate a lot of meat and potatoes. Fruits and vegetables were common, but not as popular as meat. People also drank tea and coffee. However, soft drinks and fast food didn't exist. Clothing was different from today's fashion. Men wore suits and hats. Women wore dresses and skirts. Children wore simple clothes that were easy to move around in. Overall, people dressed modestly and didn't spend a lot of money on fashion. In conclusion, I can say that life 100 years ago was hard for everyone, regardless of social status. Ordinary people had to work long and hard hours just to survive. They didn't have many of the conveniences we enjoy today, such as electricity, running water, and modern medicine. However, people were close-knit and helped each other whenever possible. They also found joy in simple things and appreciated the beauty of nature. While life 100 years ago may seem difficult and challenging, it also had its unique charm and simplicity. We can learn a lot from the people of that era and strive to create a better world for future generations. Thank you for watching this video. Which era would you like to live in? And what do you think is the best era in history? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for more videos like this.